This is how we roll. It's the Slating Rink. Building our bankroll. Thanks to the Slating Rink. Breaking down chalk, the way the gawkers gawk. Join Chad every week with his DFS talk. He's turning game stacks into lots and lots of racks. And once you tune in, you will not go back. This is how we roll. It's the Slating Rink.
All right, welcome in to the Slating Rink. I am your host, Chad Rink. Follow me on the X at Chad Ocho Rinko. Had a little technical difficulties earlier. If you were here waiting on the live stream, couldn't figure something out. Figured it out. So I am recording right now at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gonna look at the March 30th MLB main slate. So there are 10 games on that main slate. I'm going to just kind of quickly go over what I like in terms of game stacks. There are 3 teams that I would target on this slate, and then look at the pitching matchups and see who we really would want to target. Do we want to pay up? If so, who, if there's any kind of value, that kind of thing. So let's kind of dive into this and let's see how we can go about this. I'm going to kind of play around and see if it'll put me on there. Nah, it's all right. It was not a big deal on that. So if we look into this, it's an interesting slate. It's still early in the season, still trying to figure out who's good, who's not good. So we're in the second series. So all the opening weekend series have hit. So we are not back at the ace pitchers, those types of things. So if pitching is going to be a little bit rough. So I usually like to start off with the pitchers and kind of see what I want to do, who to pay up for, if so, or if we've got a couple of values. So looking at it, the one I think I'm going to probably go with is starting off with Edward Cabrera for my Chicago Cubs. And the reason is he's an innings eater, and he has looked pretty solid the last couple of years, and he's going up against an Angels team that has struck out 33 times so far this season in the first 3 games. So I like that matchup. The game is in Chicago. The Angels are traveling across the country. I do believe they were in LA playing the Dodgers, if I do remember correctly. I'm going to double check that, but they are traveling. And so that's going to be a little bit rough for them. No, they're in Houston. So still a longer trip. So they've struck out a ton this year. Cabrera is the darling for the Cubs, who they traded for, giving up one of their star players, superstar young studs, Owen Cassie. So we'll see what he's got. I think they're not gonna limit him. Cabrera's been one to eat innings, so I think I would start with Cabrera just with the matchup. Chicago again in March, cold. It's actually not gonna be too bad. It's 58, 10 miles blowing out, but still kind of cold. So I don't mind Cabrera in Wrigley against an Angels team that's going to strike out a ton. And then there's 2 other guys that I am looking. I'm not going to really pay up on anybody else. So scrolling down, there's two that I like. I don't mind Lance McCullers If you pull up McCullers, he had a rough year last year. ERA whip pretty high. He did not log a ton of innings because of injuries, but he has been over his career a little more than a strikeout an inning. So I don't mind him. I think what I would do though is slide down and go save a little money and go Bryce Elder. I am not a Bryce Elder fan. I don't think he's a great pitcher, but I think in this matchup, I do like him a lot going against the Athletics. You're saving $700 sliding down him at 6,500. If you thought the Angels struck out a lot, the A's have struck out 50 times over the first 3 games, which is ridiculous. They were in Toronto, so now they're going to cruise down to Atlanta. Again, they are traveling. So I don't mind Elder. I don't know if he's going to pitch much more than 5 innings, but I could see him 5 innings, 5 or 6 strikeouts, maybe limiting the A's to maybe 2 runs. A's got some nice bats, but I don't mind that because there's the stacks that I want, especially one of them is going to be paying up for. So with that, those are the 2 pitchers I think I would go for. So if we're looking at stacks, there are 3 teams that I like. I do like the Mets. I also like the Brewers at home. And then in one of the later games, I do like the Padres. So we'll mark those 3 to kind of take a look at. So with that, catching, it's not a bad spot. I'm going to go Contreras. Contreras has got a little decent batter pitcher matchup, and I just he's going to be facing Tampa Bay and Nick Martinez, and I have always been one to target Nick Martinez in any kind of DFS slate. So I do like the Brewers as part of a main stack. I like the Brewers and like the Mets is if you're going 4 or 5 and then filling in with the other, or the Padres. So those are the 3 that I like. The Padres, though, I do, if I can get to Machado, Tatis, and then maybe slide Bogarts in depending on where I'm going. But Contreras, I do like at catcher. He's really the only option I like. He's not super expensive. Again, we're still looking at 43.57. So I kind of want to look at the Mets here. So I don't mind with Polanco, putting Polanco at first. I like Turang at second. If we're just going to go Mets Brewers, look at that first. I do like Bichette at third, although I do also like Machado if I want to go there. But Bichette at third because Lindor at short. And then you still got 4,100 for your outfield. If you're going to go Soto, that's going to knock that down, but still 3,100. And this is where, you got to look at that Met stack and really kind of see is that where I want to go. If I decide to take Turang out and go elsewhere at second, and we'll look at that here in a minute. If you go back to the outfield, because I really like Yelich. Yelich has been killing it so far this year, batting 600. He's already got a home run. Can we throw him in there? And then you got 3,000 left. What I looked at then, that's what it was. So if I go back to first and second, if I take Jake Bauers, Milwaukee, put him at first, and then I can throw Polanco at second at 3,600, leaves me 2,800 left with these 3 teams. And the other guy I was looking at was Garrett Mitchell. So it's really going to be a Milwaukee Mets split 4-4 stack. So you just two stacks, two teams. I like the Mets. They are going to St. Louis. St. Louis is going to be 82 and the wind blowing out at 15 miles an hour. So I do like that. The Mets have a potent lineup. I just kind of like the top end of their lineup. So you're looking at Polanco, Bichette, Lindor, Soto. That'll be 1 through 4 most likely for them. So you're getting the top end of that Mets order. I would not really go anywhere down after that. And then filling in with the Brewers. If you wanted to not go with the Mets, you can do a Brewers Padres stack, which you'd be getting Machado at third. You would go Bogarts at short, throw Tatis in the outfield, and that gives you 5,400 at second. So you could throw Terang in there if you wanted to go a 5-3 stack. If you didn't want Terang, you could get Polanco to get at least a bat in that Mets game. I don't mind that. You're still leaving a ton of salary left. That would still give you 1,800 in salary. So you could slide off of Mitchell or even Bogarts if you wanted. If you wanted to get off Bogarts and go Lindor or Bichette, I really don't mind that either. And then you'd kind of mix in all three. With that, you'd have 2 Mets and Polanco, Lindor. You'd have 4 Brewers, 2 Padres. So I don't mind that. So I think that's the way I'm going to go. I am just going to concentrate on those 3 lineups in Milwaukee, San Diego, and New York. If you're playing multiple lineups, obviously mix and match. If you're going to go with the Mets, I am strictly going to stick with the top 4 there. Seattle's got Leahy pitching, and so not much on him. I don't think the Mets have actually faced him yet. If there's just a couple on that. So I do like that going forward. I think if I was going to rank them, I think it would be the Brewers one because they're going against Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez is just absolute garbage. I think the Brewers have just absolutely been crushing the ball here. They scored 9 today against the White Sox. And let me get down to them. They scored 9, 6, and 14 so far this current baseball season. So they've been seeing the ball well. Martinez is not good. So I do like the Brewers one. I think I would go the Mets too. If you can get the Brewers Mets stack and maybe throw in a Padre, and I would really lean Machado or Tatis. If you can get one of them, I would do that. Again, if you want to keep Tatis, you could throw Bichette in at third. And then you still have the 4 Brewer, 3 Met, and then Tatis in there. And, you could, like I said, you could stay away from there. You could throw Soto in as well, and that would put you right at the cap. So you would go again the 4-4 like we talked about before. So I don't mind that. If you wanted to save money and you wanted to get off Yelich and still do that stack, Frelick could save you a little bit of money. If you wanted to go elsewhere, like especially at first base, you might be able to. And again, if you wanted to put Polanco at first, and then that leaves you a little bit more money at second. But it's not really helping you because if you're staying in this stack. So I do like taking Polanco at second. That's a lot of power there. And then again, you have Bowers. You could go there. Gavin Sheets. But I don't mind Bowers. If you wanted to just clear everybody and see what else you have if you didn't like Bowers, it's going to be a little bit Torkelson in Arizona. But there's no one else really. If you're not going to pay up at first, then, you could always get off Lindor if you wanted to, then try to go cheaper there. But I just like that Mets Brewers stack. And then, like I said, you could save money with Bowers at first, left-handed bat against, again, Martinez, who is just not good at all. And then again at shortstop, if you like Lindor, if you want to get, Bichette at short, it'll save you $600, and then it would be able to get you Machado at third. Again, that would be a 4 Brewer, 3 Met, Manny Machado there. So, and give you $1,000 if you can play with that. I do like, then you could probably get up to take Frelick out, and you would be able to get up to Yelich at 4,900, save you $100 or leave you $100 left. So I'd rather have Yelich than Frelick. So this is probably my favorite lineup. If you go Contreras, Bowers, Polanco, Machado, Bichette, Soto, Yelich, Mitchell. That's really what I like. Again, I'm only probably focusing on the 3 pitchers of Cabrera, Elder, and then McCullers. I don't know how the McCullers is a little bit nervous because that Boston lineup can hit. They did not swing the bat that well in Cincinnati, and Boston had 29 strikeouts this opening weekend as well. So, but McCullers has some strikeout stuff. I just don't know how long they're going to go. I would be surprised if he went more than 5 innings. I don't know where else to go. There's not really any other cheaper guy that I would like than McCullers or Elder. So you could pay up for Verlander. It's just there's a lot of unknowns here. Ranger Suarez is not bad because Houston has not hit the ball that well either. So it just I don't know if I want to pay up for pitching with what I have here, because if you ended up, let's say you took Elder out, and again, we're just talking through this kind of like the first look. I just want to get a video out because I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow to do it. But if you go, let's say you wanted to pay up a pitcher, you get both those pitchers. So then you've got to find some spot to where you could save money. So if you were doing that and you still like the Brewers Mets, you could get off Machado, 3,000 at third. You just kind of slide through, try to figure out what you want to do. You could also move Bichette to third, and you might be able to get a shortstop at 3K that you might like a little better. You could get Ortiz for the Brewers if you wanted to really throw a true 5-man stack there. But I just, that's why I don't like paying up at pitcher in both spots. And again, unless you get off Soto, but I don't really want to. So that's why I'm going to save money on pitcher. And I probably go Elder just because the way the A's have looked. They're traveling from Toronto. And then it's depending on what you want to do. If you want to go Lindor and go 4-4, I don't mind that if you don't want to throw Machado in. So those are my 2 favorite looks, is the Brewers Mets. And then if you want to throw in either Tatis or Machado in, if you throw Machado in, then you can slide Bichette at third. Or if you want to keep Lindor, you probably can. No, you can't. You'd have to throw Lindor out and then move Bichette to short. If you like Tatis better than Soto, it's going to save you $800. You could do that as well. So there's a lot of play that you can do. If you really don't like Bowers there, unless they take Tatis out. You've got Ohtani. At first, you could do it first. You've got Vlad in Toronto, which is a nice hitting park. You've got some play and some stuff there if you want to go someone other than Bowers, and then it's just where else you gonna say myself? If you decided to go Vlad there, you've got 3,400 for your last outfield spot. And I'm sure like outfield is the one spot you can almost always find the best value on most slates. You just can't quite get to Frelick there. You end up, there's Bowers there as well. If you go to the Padres, Gavin Sheets, I don't mind Castellanos either. And then if you want to look at the Mets, you can look and see there's not much for New York. So if you're really looking to throw Vlad in, but that's the slate for today. I'm not sure where I'm going with this one, but I know those are my leans right now at midnight. So now we are in on the 30th. So that's something to look at. Again, this is the main slate. So this starting at 7:07, you're going to have if those are the three games you're looking at, you've got Milwaukee and New York will be starting at 7:40 and 7:45, and then you've got the Padres, which is going to be a 9:40 game. So if you have Padres in, then if you have either Tatis or Machado in, I imagine they're going to be starting this early in the season, but then you'd have to pivot off them. You do have the Dodgers playing at 10:10, so that's not a bad one. You can switch to. You've got the Yankees at 9:40 also. So you've got some teams you can switch off if you just have a Machado or Tatis one-off, which I think that's how I'm playing the Padres, is either a very short two-man stack or just a one-off, one of those two. And then there are the Yankees are one where you could fill in for that if Machado or Tatis was not playing. I don't mind Detroit. And then you've got the Dodgers as well. So I always like kind of having a late guy. It's just one of those, having that one spot or even a couple spots in the later evening just to have, because if you're done by the time those 10 o'clock hit, you're just kind of hoping those guys don't go off. But I really like the Brewers and the Mets, and then those three pitchers. So I will play around with this a little bit more. I will try to throw my official play out on X. Again, you can follow me at Chad Ochorinco on X. Instagram, I am at RinkNado. This is the Slating Rink, trying to get at least a video out every day for Major League Baseball DFS, trying to keep it under a half an hour. Again, some of these shorter slates, we will definitely keep it under, but wanted to get this out. Hopefully then by the time you guys wake up this morning, going to look at DFS content, find me. Hopefully this helps. Subscribe to FanStream Sports Ohio. You can go to fanstreamsports.com to find all our content and all our locations. And comment who you like. What stacks do you like? Any pitcher? What's the one pitcher that you are going to just jam in your lineup as well? I'm more of a single entry player, but sometimes I will do 3 entries. I usually like doing 20 entry for MLB. I usually save that more for NFL DFS, but single entry. So I think that the guy I'm going to want is Cabrera, and then it's just depending. I want to save money, and it's going to probably be Elder or McCullers because I just don't like any of the other pitchers that are going on there. So, again, this has been the Slating Rink. Thanks for checking us out. Again, like, subscribe, comment. It does help the algorithms. And this will be for the Monday, March 30th, 2026 slate. Again, thanks for watching, and we now return you back to a forward all slate.